Good afternoon or evening. This is Janice Roten, English 1301. We're moving on to paper 2. Make sure that you check your course menu for the proper due date. This paper will be posted in advance to give you time to complete the assignment. This paper is to be an argumentative essay, which includes descriptive paragraphs, plus 3 outside sources to support your argument, and proper use of MLA documentation. Make sure you have completed all assignments through this week before you begin paper on this major assignment. You will find an essay template in this week's assignments in the paper 2 file for basic argumentative essay. You need to use the thesis statement developmental guide tool and this essay template to create a descriptive argumentative essay. This should be a personal opinion piece on a local and personal topic. It should be written in the first person and demonstrate to the instructor that you are indeed the author of the piece. MLA format, as always, is required. Your goal is to prove to me that you have an opinion on this piece that is genuine, and this is genuinely your writing. Please do not use the second person you. I say that this paper is to be written in first person. That makes it informal in tone. But second person weakens your arguments, even though you may see it. I'm using it right now in model essays. Please avoid use of second person YOU. Here's a list of things I do not want you to write about. Anything political issues, politicians, or any upcoming elections. Racism in law enforcement, any issues dealing with racism or sexism, nothing on healthcare, the healthcare system, health insurance, nothing on abortion or women's health issues concerning abortion, nothing on the legalization of any contraband or marijuana, nothing on gun control, and you can't write about going to the ballet because I'm going to use that as my sample. So you see, I don't really want controversial issues at this point, and I'd like you to try to keep it kind of light. So you see, mine's going to the ballet. So make it personal and make it informal. Your goal is a well-written sample of your writing. Make sure you read and reconsider all sample essays before as modeling from the experts. Find a topic for which you have a personal opinion and personal experiences to back your position. Use your own experiences and the experiences of people you know. Think about what concerns you. Think about what concerns you, the concerns that you have in daily life, and imagine arguing your opinion to me as you would if we were discussing this issue at dinner. So try to convince me to do something, or try to convince me that something needs to be corrected, but keep it a small issue. I'm thinking of going for coffee as the example, because the argument there is that we're having to do all the work when we go for coffee. It's really a how to order coffee kind of essay. It's light in tone, but it really has quite a serious message. Here is a screenshot of the Ashford University thesis generator. You need to go to this. I have this linked several times in this week's lessons and in the paper 2 file. You go here to create your thesis statement, and it will help you create a thesis statement which includes 3 supporting points. So here is the thesis statement that I created using the Ashford University thesis generator. The elegance of an evening attending a performance at the Texas Ballet Theater is reflected in the beauty of the Bass Hall Performance Hall, the sounds of the glorious Fort Worth Symphony, and the skill and grace of the gifted young dancers of the Texas Ballet. So here's my thesis statement. My argument is I'm trying to convince somebody to go to the ballet, someone who doesn't want to go to the ballet. So I have 3 things that this person needs to realize. First of all, that the performance hall is an experience in itself. The live music of the symphony is a separate experience. And then we have gifted, beautiful young dancers on the stage, which this person may appreciate more than they realize. This gives me the opportunity for a lot of description. And remember, in this paper, we're trying to combine those two concepts. Also, I must have 3 outside sources and MLA documentation throughout. So what does that mean? Well, I need to find 3 quotations or 3 paragraphs that I have, or information that I have paraphrased and cited within my paper. So I'm going to go probably to the Bass Performance Hall website and the Fort Worth Symphony and the Texas Ballet and do a little bit of research and find some quotations from outside sources that I can include in my paper. That'll be an easy thing to do. And then, of course, I need to cite that information in my paper properly and include it on a works cited page, which would be the last page of my properly documented paper. Evaluate your argument with outside research. Elevate your argument with outside research. That means you're going to say that the ballet is a glorious experience. Well, research it and find someone who's an authority who has said that, and you can use their quotation, which must have an acknowledged author and cannot be from Wikipedia or any generic site with no acknowledged author. Absolutely no blogs. Just because I put it on my blog that I thought the ballet was great does not make me an authority. So go to the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, find a review, and then the review, that person has established themselves as an authority on the theater. So you can use them. I really, anytime at this level that you quote or paraphrase information, I would like that information to come from a real author. You cannot use encyclopedias or Wikipedia or blogs that are not from acknowledged authorities. This is included in your textbook in the chapters on MLA documentation. Look for an acknowledged authority to support your positions. You must include 3 outside sources within the text of the paper, which should be quoted or paraphrased and cited correctly within the text of the paper and on a MLA formatted works cited page. I just said that. See your textbook, Rules for Writers. Here are the page numbers, 419 through 532. This is part of your reading assignment on research and writing using the MLA style. And it will also discuss, starting with page 419, research and proper sources. Now, this is the essay outline sample template I want you to use. Before, I had mentioned that the prerequisite for this course was to write an argument or argumentative informal personal essay using an outline similar to this. That's what you needed to pass the AccuPlacer test. So hopefully this looks familiar. You have an introduction, you have a body with at least 3 supporting paragraphs, and a conclusion. Now I want you to look and make sure that you print this. This is also available in this week's lessons and in the paper 2 file. Make sure that you print this up and use this as your guide. Introduction. Get the reader's attention by asking a question, relaying something, criticizing about the subject in a manner that commands attention. Start with a quote, description, or narration. Well, I'm going to start with a narration. I'm going to start with a situation. My child wants to go to the ballet. So I'm going to talk about this little girl's dream to go to the ballet. And I've got to try to convince her father to take her. Okay, so what is my argument? Even though he doesn't like ballet dancing, why should he want to go to see the Nutcracker? Because of here I'm going to state my thesis statement, even though George isn't interested in ballet tutus and point shoes, he should consider taking his daughter to the ballet. Why? Because of the beauty of Bass Hall, the music of the Fort Worth Symphony, and the ability of the dancers. Those are my 3 points that should be included at the end of my introduction in my thesis statement, which I had already created. Okay, now my body My body is going to discuss 1, 2, 3 in the 3 things that I just discussed in my thesis statement in the same order that they were presented in the thesis statement. So my first point, what is that? Bass Hall. Give me descriptions of Bass Hall. Second point, what was that? Oh, the beauty of the Fort Worth Symphony. Okay, go to the Fort Worth Symphony, find some research there, about how talented all the musicians are. Give me some great descriptions. Third explanation, my third point was what? The ability of the dancers. Do some research on these ballet dancers, okay? Do some research on what other kind of dancing they might do, and what might my non-ballet interested person, he might see, okay? My proposal, if applicable, my proposal is that to take your daughter would be an educational, wonderful thing that she might enjoy, and address opposing viewpoints. This is a big even though George, okay, even I'm not gonna address him personally because I don't want to use YOU. Okay, so even though George might hesitate, or even though the average Texas cowboy may not be interested in point shoes, okay, there's the opposition. Seeing people dancing on their toes, he may be interested in what? The beautiful bodies, the gorgeous young ballerinas. He needs to take a look, okay? So I'm going to address that opposition. I'm going to recognize that it's there. Okay, going to the closing, number 3, it mentions addressing the opposition, which you can do either here in the closing or at the end in your body. It needs to be somewhere here. And then you need to readdress your thesis statement. Please do not restate the thesis. I do not want to see it again in the exact form. Okay, because of everything listed above, blah, 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 there's your thesis statement exactly the same way. No, you need to readdress the thesis in a new fashion. So you have to rephrase it. Go to this outline. It's exactly what I want. Make sure you follow this outline as given. Make sure you edit and proofread carefully for sentence structure and grammar. Practice your grammar skills using the Rules for Writer website daily to fine-tune your punctuation skills. All the exercises that we're doing, you're supposed to be going to Rules for Writers website daily. I have a list of exercises that are posted weekly for you to do. If you do not do those exercises and you guess at the weekly quizzes, you may be able to pass them. You may, but you're not going to retain the information. You must practice. I go to the grammar site and I do not always pass every quiz the first time I try. Okay, it's really, really good practice, and this you will be able to edit and proofread your own paper. I am not going to edit and proofread your papers for you, and I won't even mark punctuation for you. You will just not get full credit for grammar and sentence structure, and then your grade is going to come down. Your goal is to demonstrate your understanding and attention to all lessons presented thus far in this course, and give the paper a personal voice which proves your genuine and complete authorship of the assignment. Contact your instructor should you have any questions concerning your selected topic. If you have something that I have put on the no, I will not listen to, or I don't want to talk about list, give me an email. You may have a different point of view that I may find acceptable. Let me know. I want you to write, the most important thing is I want you to write about something important and interesting to you, which you in turn should make very interesting to me and convince me to do whatever it is you want me to do. Again, for this paper, keep it informal. Do not make it too serious. If in creating these thesis statements, it leads you to your thought processes go to a more serious topic, please say that for paper 3, because that will require more research. So, and also a more academic writing style. So that's where we're trying to get to. But at this point, I want to keep it informal, keep it in first person, but I want you to add the descriptive elements, and I want you to add at least 3 sources which are properly documented using the MLA method of documentation.